think it's a great point. And I think, and I'll raise this topic for us, right? Innovation is they're tactics, right? Being innovative is is a good mindset, but it's not a strategy. And I think that a lot of people think that, okay, I'm going to be innovative, be strategic as a result. So I guess, Jess, to you, right? Do you think that we're strategic? I mean, do you think that the dynamic of leadership and that we are using strategy as it should be used
No,
inside of these orgs?
I don't. I think that that's probably one of the weaknesses that we have, because coming out of the pandemic, you were in fight or flight mode, right? There was so much coming at you so quickly, and you just had to react. And when you react, it's hard to be strategic and think about, well, what does the next 3 years need to look like? If you're in a company that's in distress, you don't have the time to think through, all right, what's my 3 year plan? And let me have the fortitude and the conviction to keep that plan going. And so a strategy can change from 1 year to the next to the next. And you can't make any momentum that way, right? I think that some of the best brands that we have seen do really strong turnarounds had a strategic vision that went out multi-years. They focused, to your point, Jason, they weren't like, oh, let's go do the next shiny thing. They focused on the things that they felt like were going to matter. They had that conviction and fortitude to make it withstand. One of the ones that stands out for me is Brian Cornell and Target. When he first joined, and he said, we're investing in stores. We are investing in how we're going to bring inventory into our stores and have this holistic logistics model that ships to store, but also, the pickup in store. And then we're going to, get our e-commerce right. I think people felt like he's smoking crack, right? Like, this isn't going to work. You're going to invest more in stores than that. Everybody's getting out of stores.
That's not a strategy. We're going to be.
You're a little bit behind. Jason, to you, you talked about seeing all these different companies, and they're placing these bets in these innovation avenues. What has been difficult with them in terms of how they've tried to embrace a strategy or embrace something that feels strategic versus just either tactics, to Nick's point, or they're chasing something really shiny?
It's probably a little bit about, like, I'm looking for a quick fix that's going to change some things. They're looking for an approach, right, in some of these cases, but I don't have a great answer for that. I think there is this kind of tendency to stick your head in the sand a bit, though, on the state of your core operations, and then you kind of say, okay, good enough, and then we're going to go off and do this thing. And I think part of it just maybe comes down to not understanding how bad you're doing on the core pieces. But anyway, I think you just generally see people don't realize how poorly they're performing in core e-commerce, for example, and that's my window into the world, right? And
Yeah.
and what I see it as is I get friends all the time that are constantly texting me, sending me emails, and saying, "Look at this delivery experience I just had, where it basically said, it doesn't tell me when I'm going to get it. It says it says maybe it'll ship in a couple days and come in 10 days, right? I mean, and this really pissed me off, and I decided not to. I just went to Amazon and bought something else, right? When are you guys going to fix this, right? So that's kind of the main. And I just don't think people are honest about how bad some of these experiences are, because it's really hard to fix. It's going to take a lot of work.
Well, Nick, you've sat in boardrooms. Is it just come down to it's much easier to sell the shiny thing than say, hey, we're going to double down and we're going to just take the friction out of shopping. We're going to clean up our inventory. We're going to make our logistics better, because that's not what sells and gets people excited.
What I'll say is, like, yes, like we do not stay true to our visions and our strategies. We manage to a board, and we manage to private or public equity. 2, there are no silver bullets. Like, they don't exist.
Boom.
You
Exactly.
achieve your strategies, your goals, through firing a whole bunch of lead bullets. Like, that's it, period. And because we don't hear what's new, it takes you off course. And ultimately, when you play defense and you're being innovative out of desperation, you're dead. If companies realize that far sooner, they could file bankruptcy, which is a great vehicle, and transform, versus file bankruptcy to liquidate or sell the IP to another user.
Yeah.
Off my soapbox again.